Hello SkyTubers, welcome to the Skill Explanation Guide in 12 Sky 2. In this guide, I will explain the basic skills that every player needs to have, where you can obtain these skills, and how to properly upgrade them. As I mentioned in my previous videos, all clans and factions share the same statistics, same equipment system, and overall mirrored gameplay mechanics. The main differences are visual styles and faction identity, which means every clan should generally follow the same progression path. There are three main types of skills in 12 Sky 2: common skills, support skills, attack skills. But before we get into the skill categories, we first need to understand how the skill learning system works. At level 1, you start with 0 skill points, which means you cannot learn any skills immediately because every skill requires skill points in order to be learned and upgraded. From level 2 up to the maximum level 112, you will continue receiving skill points through leveling. These skill points must be used wisely because the game does not provide enough points to fully learn every single skill available in the game. This means your build and skill path must be optimized depending on your gameplay style and objectives. Now, let's start with the common skill section. It is mandatory to learn and fully upgrade the important common skills that can be obtained from the skill NPC located in each faction's town. For the common skill category, your goal should be upgrading the required skills to level 12, and this will provide the max. Level 12 represents the maximum base level of a skill using only the skill points obtained from leveling, meaning the skill cannot be upgraded any further through normal skill points. Each point added will boost the stats of the skill and is mandatory to have it at maximum level. However, equipment can provide additional skill levels through bonus stats and special effects, allowing your skills to become even stronger beyond their normal limits. Because of this, it is very important to follow the correct skill progression path regardless of the faction or clan you choose. Level 12 represents the maximum base level of a skill using only the skill points obtained from leveling, meaning the skill cannot be upgraded any further through normal skill points. Each point added will boost the stats of the skill and is mandatory to have it at maximum level. However, equipment can provide additional skill levels through bonus stats and special effects, allowing your skills to become even stronger beyond their normal limits. Because of this, it is very important to follow the correct skill progression path regardless of the faction or clan you choose. Now we will discuss each required skill that you should use, starting with the common skills section. The first required skill is the running skill. This skill increases your movement speed and is absolutely mandatory because it helps reduce the time needed to reach your targets, travel to enemy maps, or move faster to your grinding locations. The second required skill is the jump skill. Jumping is essential for many maps and events, and there are also multiple shortcuts throughout the game that require jump mechanics. Because of this, the jump skill is also considered mandatory. The third important skill is the charging skill. This is one of the most important skills for PvP content because it significantly increases your damage while charging enemies. In the game mechanics, charging can almost double your damage output during engagements. The fourth required skill is the attack speed and attribute buff skill. These buffs increase your attack speed and character attributes, providing major benefits in both PvM and PvP situations. Faster attacks and additional stats directly improve your overall combat performance. The fifth required skill is the Touch of Death defense skill. This skill is extremely important because it helps reduce or avoid stun effects from enemies, including freezing effects from monsters and PvP opponents. Without this defense skill, you can easily become vulnerable during combat. The sixth skill is optional, the Touch of Death skill. This skill allows you to stun enemy players during PvP if they do not have the Touch of Death defense skill active or properly upgraded. This is exactly why the 5th skill becomes mandatory for every serious player, especially for PvP-focused gameplay. As explained so far, all skills from the common skills section can be used with every weapon type. Having these skills properly upgraded gives a major advantage to your gameplay and overall game mechanics, both in PvM and PvP situations. Because of this, make sure all important common skills are always placed on your skill bar for quick access during combat and movement. Now we will move further into the support skills section. This category contains some of the most impactful skills in 12 Sky 2 because these buffs can completely change your overall gameplay performance. The main difference in this section is that certain support skills require specific weapons in order to activate their weapon buffs. These skills can be obtained from the skill NPC located in your faction's town, and they are considered core mechanics for both PvM and PvP gameplay. In my case, I personally use 2 weapon types depending on the situation. I use the spear mainly for damage because the damage buff is extremely impactful for my PvM farming and grinding efficiency. I also use a ranged weapon because it provides a very strong attack speed and dodge buff, which greatly improves mobility, survivability, and overall combat flow. Once again, both of these support skills and weapon buffs can be learned directly from the NPCs located in your town. There is also the defense weapon skill available. Perhaps this skill can still be useful for grinding or certain PvM situations, especially for players that prefer a more defensive gameplay style. However, for endgame content, I personally do not find the defense weapon very effective. This is the main reason why my focus remains on damage and range weapons instead. At the current state of the game, the damage output is already extremely high, so defensive weapon buffs do not provide enough value for my gameplay compared to offensive buffs like damage, attack speed, and dodge. Moving further, now I will discuss the remaining important buffs required for your gameplay. All of these skills can be obtained through PvM drops from monsters and from skill boxes, which can drop from both PvM and PvP content. As additional information, for R12 content I personally use party buffs because some skills became much more important after the Rebirth update, where the game shifted more toward team-based gameplay. Inspirational Strike. This skill increases your critical rate and is extremely important for PvP and also very useful in PvM. Critical rate is one of the most impactful mechanics in the entire game because critical hits can completely change the outcome of a fight. Iron Skin. This is a mandatory skill and one of the strongest defensive buffs in the game. Iron Skin works as a shield that absorbs part of the incoming damage, making it extremely impactful during PvP battles and large-scale events. Tenon Prayer. This skill increases your luck stat. Players mainly use this skill while reinforcing equipment or crafting items because luck is believed to improve crafting patterns and upgrade success rates. I propose level 12 to obtain the maximum luck, not as level 1 provided in this video. Later on, with additional skill books, this skill can also provide extra damage-related benefits. In my case, my Tenon Prayer is currently only level 1 because I no longer focus on crafting with this account and mainly use it only for skill book purposes. Moving further, as mentioned at the beginning, support buff information. If you are not using party buff skills, then the following solo buffs become even more important. Star Reflection. This skill is extremely overpowered because it reflects damage back to the attacking player and can instantly kill opponents. It is one of the best skills supporting lower-tiered players in PvP, giving them opportunities to secure kills even against stronger enemies. Because of this, Star Reflection is Considered a must-have skill, Mind Dispersion. Some players use this skill while others avoid it because it consumes a large amount of skill points. Its main purpose is allowing your damage to bypass iron skin defenses and potentially instantly kill opponents if you land a critical hit. Depending on your strategy and build, this skill can either be extremely useful or not worth the investment. Mystic Practice. Personally, I do not use this skill because skill points are still limited. However, it can work very well against Touch of Death users and bosses capable of stunning or freezing players. I would consider Mystic Practice more of an optional support buff depending on your gameplay style. Now let's discuss party buffs, which I personally consider optional but extremely powerful. Party buffs become available when you are grouped with a full team of 5 players. These buffs are incredibly strong because they massively increase critical rate, dodge rate, iron skin effectiveness. Having party buffs during PvP battles can completely change the outcome in your favor, even if your gear is weaker compared to your opponents. For example, the Slaughter party buff increases critical rate by 106%, while my solo Inspirational Strike only provides around 51%. In addition to that, party buffs also provide extra hit rate and dodge bonuses that cannot be obtained through solo buffs. The Iron Skin party buff is also significantly stronger. Solo Iron Skin provides around 65% in my case. Party Iron Skin provides around 133%. Party buffs do not work inside every event, but there are many rewarding events where having a proper team and a party buff player provides a massive advantage for both PvP and PvM gameplay. And now we reach the final section of the guide, the attacking skills. Every weapon type has its own AoE skill, but personally I prefer using the AoE skill from the damage weapon, which can be found at NPC in town because it provides the highest damage output, especially for events like Mandate and Illusion. Also is a very good skill in your grinding strategy. When it comes to PvP, the most important attacking skills are 9th skill, single hit skill, 10th skill, multi-hit skill. Depending on your strategy and gameplay style, you can combine 2 different weapons for your 9th and 10th skills in order to maximize your PvP performance. These are currently some of the strongest PvP and PvM attacking skills available in the game. In terms of obtaining them, 9th and 10th skills mainly drop from PvM content and skill boxes. Skill boxes can be obtained from both PvM and PvP activities. The 8th skill, at the current stage of gameplay, mainly drops from GC boxes. I hope you found this guide useful and informative. If this guide helped you, feel free to share it with your friends and support the channel. And as always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. One additional tip that will help improve your gameplay experience: there is a free auto buff feature that can be obtained through daily login rewards, and it can also be purchased from the item mall. By pressing the O button, the system automatically activates all the skills that were previously added into your skill link setup. This feature is extremely useful because it significantly reduces the time needed to manually cast all your buffs before PvP, PvM, grinding, or events. It also helps maintain faster gameplay flow and makes buff management much easier, especially when using multiple support skills and weapon buffs at the same time.